Welcome back to the Plus Money Podcast, your home for the best soccer bets in 15 minutes or less. I'm Andrew Passaro. He's Stanley Cup champion Nick Dianni. The Club World Cup marches on. We are going to get you some games for Thursday. There's one game we will talk about, and then we are into the round of 16. We got a few games that we'll talk about there. Some Gold Cup over the weekend. There's and MLS is back. MLS is back tonight, Wednesday, as we are taping this. Not currently while we're taping this, but it will be out. I don't, timelines, whatever, time zones, all of that. It doesn't make sense to me. It's exciting. It's, you know what, we're into the point where I think we're actually going to get some really fun. We've gotten some fun games. So I think this is where we get some really fun games.
Definitely agree. Listen, I don't know if I'm in the minority or majority, but I think the tournament's been really good so far. I think it's been a pleasant surprise, even to some people who didn't think so coming in. Teams are going for it. There's money to be made. There's pride to be had. So, could scheduling, could groups, could locations have been a little bit better? I think yes, across the board, but so far so good. And like you said, these matchups that are in front of us, I'm excited to bet on.
All right, let's jump into a very interesting one Thursday. Manchester City are taking on Juve. Both of these teams have looked very good in this tournament, taking it very seriously. Both on 6 points. This is for the top of the group. Should have researched who either team could end up playing in the next round. I don't really care. It doesn't matter. Interestingly enough, City have lost to Juve quite a bit in their recent history. They lost to them earlier this season. All the money is on Manchester City. I don't think Juve is a bad shout, especially with the way that they've played. There's one player in particular I want to talk about, and that's Kenan Yildiz. One shot on target, which he's hit in both Club World Cup games, is minus 110.
That's
Right.
kind of insane.
Yeah.
He scored in both games, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Two shots and one shot on target. Parlayed is plus 135. He's hit that in both Club World Cup games. Two shots on target, which he has done in one of these two games, is plus 500. Three shots is plus 190. He's again done that in one of his two games. Juve in general are getting massively disrespected. 12 shots is minus 105. They've hit that in one of their two games. City have given that up in one of two. 13 shots is plus 145. And then I think the actual two things, which you're probably going to say, both teams to score. Are we doing both teams to score here? It's minus 130.
Over 2.5 was it for
And
me at
yeah,
minus 125.
yeah,
No,
exactly.
you hit
It
the
was
nail
on
on the
my
head,
card.
dude. Juve has looked good. I think there's a chip on their shoulder from last year. I think there's a coach who's looking to prove that he deserves this job. There's players who are vying for playing time for next year. Granted, their opposition hasn't been great, but it doesn't matter. You got to beat who's in front of you. So I think they're in it for a goal. I think City's in it for a goal. I don't see how we don't get to 2.5 if both teams take this seriously, which I think they will.
Juve team total, which they've over 1.5, which they've done in four straight, is plus 255. Are you trusting Manchester City's team at plus
No,
255? I might take a
City
stab at
just
that.
gets priced for who they have been 3 years ago. They just haven't moved off those prices ever. Doesn't really matter the circumstances of the game. A lot of money to be made taking the opposition. I'm with you.
Yeah, and also Manchester City are dropping a lot of new players into a new system. Not that Juve aren't, but for a lot of these players were with Tudor for the gauntlet run of that season where they did at least achieve top four. I'm not saying it's a major achievement, but they at least did what they had to do. So I don't know. I could be wrong, but I'm bullish on Juve on Thursday night. Jumping to Saturday, we have a Brazilian derby. I don't know if this is actually a big game in Brazil or not, but it's a big game for us. Both of these fan bases, a lot of people on the ground. Palmeiras taking on Botafogo. I'm pretty sure this one is in Philadelphia. Botafogo have won four of the last five head to head. The last game was a draw. I know there's a lot of talent on this Palmeiras team. You're getting team total over 1.5, which they've hit in three of their last five at plus 190.
Well,
I think the safe play is both teams to score at even money, which is hitting four of the last six head to head. And if you sprinkle over 2.5 on that, you're getting it at plus 170. Um, I'm
say
excited for
less.
this game. I'm excited. The biggest thing that I'm walking away from this tournament is, damn, do I need to be watching Brazilian soccer? Because we've always said that some of the better teams in Brazil are fun, but like and I know they're playing a European team kind of out of not fully fit, not fully firing, but like they're playing with them, and
Yep.
they're fun games to watch. I kind of like Palmeiras here, but I could be talked either way.
Yeah, and listen, they're in mid-season form. Maybe not mid-season, but they're in the swing of their season. So they're ready, they're up for it. They're looking okay. I don't know if two Brazilian teams playing each other maybe knocks down the excitement just a little bit. So I would say proceed with a little bit of caution, but the fact remains, ton of money to be made. All these games have been going over 2.5 on its own. It's plus 155. Both of these teams have impressed me. Palmeiras maybe less so than I expected, but fun to watch. A lot of talent on the team. 3 goals in this one as well.
Yeah, I love that. PSG taking on Inter Miami. So fun wrinkle to this game. For the first time in his career, Lionel Messi is going to play a team that he used to play for.
Okay,
He was on Barcelona forever.
interesting.
PSG never ran into Barcelona in the Champions League. So, here's the thing though. Inter Miami are massive dogs in this game. I think rightly so. I think PSG, um, outside of that Botafogo game, which they emptied the clip, they just couldn't score. Um, PSG probably looked like one of the favorites to win this tournament. Still, riding that high of winning a Champions League. I don't mind first half over 1.5. It's at minus 105 right now, but if that moves to a plus number, I'm going to put it in. It's hitting 3 of the last 5 for PSG, only 1 of the last 5 for Inter Miami, but their defense stinks. Um, I want to take both teams to score here. It's minus 110, but both teams to score no, also minus 110, has hit in 5 straight for PSG. They got shut out in that game, that 1-0 loss to Botafogo, but they've pitched a shutout in a lot of games. And I just think there's going to be there. I think PSG are going to be way too much for Inter Miami to handle. Personally, do you think? What are your thoughts here?
Uh, Part of the homer in me really wants to back Inter Miami here. I'm rooting for it. I think they've certainly shown that they're up for it. They actually could have had better results than they had. I think they very easily could have won that last game that they blew and led them towards PSG. That's unfortunate. I have to question how interested PSG really, really is in this game. They don't necessarily need the money. They've already won the Champions League. Do these guys kind of want to get home and start their holiday? That's the question I have. Um, let's see. It's interesting. I mean, I think they're obviously a little more than Inter Miami can handle at full strength, but Inter Miami just to get a goal, it's minus 130. I think that's
Not too
solid.
bad.
I went on with the guys at the Soccer Sharps, and if anybody hasn't listened to their show, really, really fun show. I had Botafogo to score, and everybody was like, "Oh, why aren't you taking both teams to score?" I'm like, "It's one less decision I need to make. I just think they're good enough to get a goal." As you mentioned, they won 1-0. So Inter Miami just to get a goal. Are they going to win 1-0? I don't think so. But anytime you don't need to another decision to go your way and it's 20-cent difference, I don't know. I think Inter Miami can get on the score sheet. Crazier things have happened. They're also not bad at plus two. Plus two is minus 110. Do they keep it close? Can they keep it close? You're buying yourself a whole lot of outcomes. Just something to keep an eye on. I'm not saying it's super official, but they could keep it close.
Yeah, they could. We'll do some picks online for Flamengo, Bayern Munich, and Benfica, Chelsea. The lines were not necessarily fully available for
I
all of
do have
us.
one, if I
Oh,
can shout it out.
for what?
Oh,
For which game? Because I
for
have
for
one.
Bayern, for Bayern.
Okay, because
Oh,
I love the both teams to score an over 2.5 at minus 105.
I
Uh,
dig that. Olise, 2 shots on target, plus 225.
that's my guy, dude. He didn't score yesterday, but he had scored, which he also didn't start. He had scored in 5 straight games for Bayern Munich going into
Yeah,
yesterday's
he's
game.
he's he's up for it. 2 shots on target, plus 225. I dig
All
it.
right, then we're putting that's officially on the show. Both teams scoring over 2.5. Flamengo, very fun watch at this tournament. They absolutely smoked Chelsea in that second
Jorginho, dude,
half. Yeah,
looking like
dude.
the guy.
Yeah, he's 39 years old. I maybe 37, but he's 39 years old. All right, we'll jump. I will probably find something for Benfica Chelsea. I that will be most Benfica could win that game. Benfica need the money. Um,
That is like the most toss-up game in the history of toss-up games that I could think of.
if they are out, it is Angel Di Maria's final game for a European side, and he returns to his hometown Rosario after they depart from this tournament. USA taking on Costa Rica. I think this is Saturday night. I want to say Saturday night, or is it Sunday night? I don't know. One of those nights. I like goals here. Over 2.5 goals is -130. Hitting 3 of the last 4 head to head, 4 of the last 5 for both clubs. If you want to kick it up to over 3 at +120 or 3.5 at +182, both of those have hit in 2 of the last 5 for both clubs. Um, I also I don't mind both teams to score.
Yep.
Costa Rica, I can definitely get behind. Both teams to score is -120. So if you take both teams to score in over 2.5, it's +115. It's hit into it. It's hit both. If you both teams to score and both teams to score and over 2.5 has hit in the same amount of games for both clubs in the last 5. 2 of the last 5 for US, 3 of the last 5 for Costa Rica. So
Yeah, listen, I think if we are on an over 2.5, Costa Rica will be getting one of those goals. I think
yes,
it's just inevitable. And I think they play up to the US just about every time. The US hasn't exactly looked all that good. So I agree with you. I had over 2.5. It was -120 on my book, so slightly better. But you have to imagine Costa Rica is getting on the score sheet for that result. I also like Malik Tillman, anytime goal scorer, +200. He's just been the US's best, most consistent player in this tournament. I don't think there's any real debate about that. So +200 still seems like a really good number against a team that the US should beat. Whether they will or won't is another conversation. We could stay on this podcast for probably another 20 minutes if we wanted to. At some point, results need to start coming. The only thing that makes me feel a little bit better is Canada has not looked good. Mexico has not looked good. So, I guess we're all in the same boat here, but we need to start seeing results out of the United States, and it needs to happen this game.
yeah. Malik Tillman playing for a move heavily linked to Bayer Leverkusen right now. That's a Champions League caliber German team. He's currently at PSV where they missed out on, or no, they did win a title. Ajax bottled that. Um, Bonus, not sure if it's official, but I have 3 games tabbed for both teams to score parlay for Saturday. So it's, again, we're taping this Wednesday. There's MLS tonight, so who knows? But Chicago Fire, Charlotte FC. You can
Always.
always go right with Chicago Fire. Um, the California Classico, San Jose Earthquakes are taking on LA Galaxy. And then Orlando City are taking on FC Cincinnati. Am I crazy? It's +230.
I dig it.
Yeah. All right. Maybe we'll lock that in. Maybe I'll do a video for the people. Do some research on that. Yeah, guys, follow us on socials because there'll be more games that we didn't have time to get to today, or we don't have lines for, or whatever. We're around at Andrew Passaro, at Nick Dianni. Hit that subscribe button for more. That makes sure that all the shorts and whatever. It's. I think. Hold on.
I
For
always
me,
forget
it's
which way.
over
I just like to
there. I
point,
think it's
guys. I
over
don't know.
there. I think it's over
This
there.
way.
Whatever. It's on there. Just subscribe. And we'll see you guys next week as we get ready for more Club World Cup as we march closer to the final. And the Gold Cup gets more exciting, and hopefully we start betting on more games. Until next week, have a great one. Stay safe, stay cool, bet responsibly.
Luck.